Yeah. Um, yeah. If it's, I really should do, let's see. I'll just call up the one that I've got. 3.1 open modified. I'll show you. Yeah. So like if it looks like this, okay, if it looks like that, or looks like that, or looks like that, it's not going to be a function from a from a graph. So if it looks like a C or a backward C or a circle, it's not going to be a function because the x's repeat. So if you think about it, uh, here's an x value right there, and there's the same x value right there. It's just got a different y, right? Well, if we look at this, oh yeah, hold up, I am. Did I take it off of present? Sorry. No, I'm presenting. Yeah, I'm presenting. You should be able to see it. Let me go to stop, and I'll hit present now. Present entire screen. No, me. I'm doing that. Okay, you got me now? Okay, so here we go. So if it looks like a backward C or C, then it's not going to be a function, right? And if you look at this, if you take a vertical line test or vertical line, you could perform what's called a vertical line test. At any point along this graph, you can stop, and it's only touching the x value at one spot. Okay, so that's kind of what it's talking about on that. If we're looking at a table, how do we know that this table is a function? Well, does my x's repeat? And the answer is no. So therefore it is a, yeah, it does, sorry. Sitting here, yeah, sitting here. It repeats here and here, right? So it's not a function, right? All right. So that's basically what this section is talking about. You know, functions, not a function. If you're looking at, here's a relation. The only thing that I have to look at are my x's. That's it. Do I have any x's that are repeating? There you go. So it's not a function. Okay. Now this one, function notation. When you have this f of negative 2, this f of negative 2 took the place of x, right? So therefore, you take the negative 2 and put it in for x. So 2 minus 2, well, I guess I ought to do it over here. 2 minus, that would be, yeah, f of x is equal to y, right? So if I wrote the equation y equals 2 minus 2x, I can replace it as f of x equal to 2 minus 2x, right? Function notation, Euler, and you can go from there. So negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4 plus 2 is 6, right? No, sir. Can't be 2 minus 4. That's a, I take the sign with the number. So that is negative 2 times negative 2, which is what? 4. 2 plus 4 is what? punch it in your calculator. Punch it in your calculator. Yeah. So when it says f of -2, you're really going 2 times -2 times that. This will give you +4, and this would be 2 plus 4, which is 6. So, I mean, you're basically, so that would be that'd be 4, and then 2 minus, that's just 2, and so forth there. So it's basically, can you take input values and find outputs, right? East Jackson is at outside Commerce. So, all right, so that's that one. And then, of course, it does this one. And the first two ought to be okay. But what happens if they say f of -a? Well, we go 2 times -a plus 5. 2 times -a plus 5 is -2a plus 5, right? That's all we're doing. And then this one says -f of a. So how does that work? You have it like this. It's basically going to be a multiplying a -1 times everything. So let's see. If you've got this, this is really, let's see, how's these? This is really -1 times f of x, right? If you think about it, -1 times that equation, that would be -2x minus 5, right? So now I can plug in a, so -2 times a minus 5 equals -2a minus 5. You either substitute it in and then change all the signs, or change all the signs first, then substitute it in. Let's see. Gotta go to something real quick. Hit this real quick. That's where that comes from. Let's see this. If you've got to evaluate a table in function notation, input, output, this is saying here's an input, find output. Okay. This is what that's saying. So when the input is 1, and there it is, what's output? Output's 5. This one's saying, hey, here's an output. What's the input? So what you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to say, okay, I've got an output of 2 there, an output of 2 there. What are the inputs? 2 and 4, right? Right there and right there. So you got to be able to read it from so does that make sense? it was h of 3, that would be what? 7. There you go. So this is, when it gives you this, it's saying here's an input, find output. Okay, that's what that's really saying. And I just done that. When it says this, when it says h of b equals 2, here's an output, find its inputs, right? That's how it's read. So it depends on where the number is, right? Yeah. So let me go here and make sure. We should have somebody else joined us. I haven't got there yet. 4 times pi times 9 cubed divided by 3, and I got this with mine. There you go. Yeah, but you also got to multiply by pi and then that by 4 and divide by 3. So you also have to do that. Sir, I'm sorry, you got to do it again. Say, do what now? Yeah. I just multiplied 4 times pi times 9 cubed, hit enter, and divided by 3. That's the only thing I did. So, all right, Ani, is there another one on 3.1 you wanted to see? These were in the video. What's it mean to be a 1-to-1? Okay, for it to be a 1-to-1, it has to do a couple of things. All right, pass a vertical line test and pass a horizontal line test. And if you can tell from here, if we were to grab a vertical line and move it here, why are you not going? It's not, finally. Dang it. All right. So if I were to go grab, move this over, if I go grab a vertical line, and if I move it from left to right, it passes a vertical line test. But if I were to go and grab a horizontal line, then, dang it. Because it's an exponential, it's not going to
on this one, it's not going to fail. Okay. But you just got to make sure you understand that. And there's another one on here that's probably a better example. 28. Determine if it passes. This one would not. I mean, look right here. It'll pass the vertical line test, but it will not pass the horizontal line test, okay? All right. So just kind of know that. All right. So but that's really what 3-1 is, right? Now 3-2 is pretty. 3-2 is not bad. 3-2 is pretty simple. Okay. Um, you got domain and range, and I took out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you got 6. Yeah, 16 problems. So domain and range. Domain and range of that. Is it a function, right? On this one, domain and range, see the open circle? That would mean that it gets a bracket. The solid circle would mean that it gets a, so the domain for this would be parentheses -4 comma 0 bracket, and the range on this would be, it's always smallest to largest, right? So that would be a bracket -1 all the way up to 2, right? That would be what the domain. So open would get a parentheses, that would get a bracket, okay? And we saw that in the previous chapter. So just kind of looking at that. Clear ink. Same thing here. Find the domain and range. Pretty simple things you ought to be able to do. Find the domain and range of this one. Factor. These are going to be the restrictions. The video shows a really good example of that. I did this in the video, so that I'd recommend you watching the video for that. A lot of this stuff right here, I scratched this one, I'm pretty sure. I ain't got the notes up, so yeah. Really need to, and then it's got piecewise functions, which are over that. So 3-1, 3-2 kind of goes quick, but it's got a lot of, wouldn't say it's got a lot of problems, but it's got problems that you've already been familiar with, if that makes sense. So really what I need for you to do is I really need you to watch the videos, because if you don't watch the videos, then you're showing up blank, you're not getting everything you need to know, type thing. So those are it would benefit you more. Okay. So we'll probably have to change links on the help session. I'll probably have to go to a Zoom, but I'll try it out with a student, make sure everything's good, nothing's going to flake. I would have thought this right here would have worked for everybody, but it's not. So, okay. So you really need to go through and do that. Tomorrow, let me get to your stuff, because yours is. This is what you need to have done before we talk tomorrow. Just 3-3. And 3-3 is not that bad, but you need to watch it. So you need to get 3-1, 3-2. You need to do it and start the 3-3. So tomorrow night, when we talk about 3-3, then you're looking good. And we'll do 3-5 on Wednesday, and then 4-1 on Thursday, and then you have a chapter 2 test that closes on Sunday. And chapter 2 would take everything up to 2-7, I think, if my memory serves me right. Well, it's 1, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6, and 2, 7, which is stuff that we've finished up last week. We'll give you this week to kind of get it back under your belt again, but you got to spend some time. All right.